Hi everyone, and welcome to this comprehensive deep dive video tutorial, Second Sight Long Range. I'm Nathan Buzza, the CEO of Illuminati Magic, and I'm truly excited to be your guide to this extraordinary product today. First, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our incredible community of over 4,500 magicians and mentalists around the globe. Your continued enthusiasm, support, and innovative creativity never ceases to amaze me. It's your dedication in pushing the limits of what is possible that motivates me and the entire team here at Illuminati Magic for developing groundbreaking products like Second Sight Long Range. In this detailed session, we're going to explore every facet of Second Sight Long Range, from its remarkable RFID capabilities, comprehensive integrations, and customizable workflows to real-world demonstrations that showcase its performance potential. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick overview of what makes Second Sight Long Range such an exciting leap forward in electronic mentalism. Simply put, Second Sight Long Range is the most advanced, powerful, and flexible RFID solution ever developed specifically for the magic and mentalism community. With its unprecedented 3.5 meter RFID detection capabilities, a suite of powerful integrations, and seamless compatibility within our expansive Unifi ecosystem, Second Sight Long Range is engineered to elevate your performances to astonishing new heights. To really appreciate Second Sight Long Range, I think it's important to understand how we got here. So let's take a brief step back and talk about the origins of Second Sight, because history deeply matters for our community. Our journey into RFID technology began several years ago with the original Second Sight RFID reader, which we launched at the Blackpool Magic Convention in 2020. At the time, Second Sight was a game changer. It allowed performers for the first time to secretly and reliably detect specially prepared RFID props in a close-up setting. Despite its tremendous success, Second Sight was designed primarily for short-range detection, typically just a few centimeters. The magic community embraced it enthusiastically, but as creators, we immediately saw opportunities for even greater possibilities. In 2022, 2 years later, we introduced Second Sight V2. It improved upon the original in numerous ways, with hundreds of performers around the world adopting and integrating it into their routines. It became the go-to RFID reader for serious mentalists, renowned for its ease of use, accuracy, and reliability. But even then, as proud as we were of Second Sight V2, we still dreamed bigger. One key limitation continued to drive our curiosity: the limited detection range inherent to existing RFID technologies. Magicians and mentalists regularly asked us if it was possible to secretly detect an RFID tag card placed into a spectator's pocket or laid out on a table several meters away. To us, that seemed like a challenging but fascinating goal. As part of our development process, and just for a bit of fun, we asked ChatGPT, a well-known AI, was it technically feasible to develop an RFID system capable of reading playing cards reliably at a range of over 3 meters? ChatGPT responded quickly, confidently saying that it was going to be virtually impossible to achieve, especially in a small, discrete form factor like a playing card case. And that, quite frankly, was the moment that we knew that we had to make it happen. So driven by determination, excitement, and perhaps a little bit of competitive spirit against an AI's prediction, we embarked on an intensive R&D journey. We combined cutting-edge antenna designs, state-of-the-art amplification technologies, and proprietary signal processing algorithms, spending thousands of hours perfecting every single aspect of Second Sight Long Range. After extensive testing, troubleshooting, and refining, literally putting our heart and soul into it, we finally achieved what was deemed impossible: a reliable RFID detection range of 3.5 meters. This innovation is at the very core of Second Sight Long Range. With its powerful, adjustable, and unprecedented detection range, Second Sight Long Range doesn't just solve the RFID range problem, it absolutely obliterates it. You can now detect RFID tags completely invisibly, hands-free, and at a distance that genuinely expands the creative possibilities for magicians and mentalists. But range alone wasn't enough. From my experience as both a performer and a creator, I understood intimately that what it makes to make a truly revolutionary product isn't just the hardware or the technology, it's how seamlessly and how creatively it integrates into performances. Therefore, Second Sight Long Range was built from day one to integrate deeply into our expansive Unifi ecosystem, offering real-time interaction with third-party magic apps, social media platforms, intelligent prediction systems, and more. With Second Sight Long Range, you're not just getting a piece of innovative tech, you're gaining access to an entire universe of magical possibilities. I truly believe Second Sight Long Range represents a monumental leap forward in the history of electronic mentalism, and I'm incredibly proud to share with it to you today. In this video tutorial, we're going to systematically explore all the incredible functions of Second Sight Long Range, including detailed RFID overview, extensive integrations, practical workflows, and comprehensive programming options. We'll show you step by step how to set everything up, from adjusting sensitivity settings, configuring vibrations and custom reveals, to understanding the powerful automated integrations within the Unifi ecosystem. Whether you're new to RFID mentalism or an experienced pro looking to push your routines even further, you'll find something in Second Sight Long Range that sparks your creativity and amplifies your performances. So let's dive right in, and I'll see you in the next chapter, and we'll get started with the technical basics and explore the groundbreaking RFID capabilities of Second Sight Long Range in detail. So let's talk about the integration capabilities of Second Sight Long Range. The Second Sight Long Range system is more than just an RFID reader. It's the central intelligence of a highly orchestrated performance ecosystem. Its magic lies in the seamless communication between scanned RFID data and an expansive suite of automated integrations. These integrations unlock a level of automation and theatrical polish that is just unrivaled in the world of mentalism and magic. From real-time AI interpretation to photorealistic image reveals and discrete earpiece communications, Second Sight Long Range acts as both your assistant and your secret weapon. Each integration can be configured as either automated or manually initiated. Automated integrations are triggered instantly the moment a RFID tag is scanned, allowing the magician to focus solely on performance while the system works invisibly in the background. Manual integrations, on the other hand, are activated by pressing a button on the thumper, providing the performer with full control over when a reveal is executed. This approach is perfect for allowing spectators to change their mind multiple times, giving the performer a confirmation before locking and loading that final revelation. When paired with a spy earpiece, the send-to-text-speech integration provides a game changer. As soon as the RFID tag is scanned, Second Sight Long Range sends the associated description to the performer's earpiece using Bluetooth. This allows for real-time, discrete communication of information like spectators' choices, the numbers, cards, names, phrases, all delivered as a natural voice to your earpiece.
3 of spades. Ace of diamonds. The moon. Judgment.
The notifier is a silent, screen-based co-performer, and with Second Sight Long Range, it becomes a live window into your audience's thoughts. When enabled, This integration sends scanned data directly to a notifier, showing information such as card names, spectator details, force numbers, or calculations on a high contrast, glanceable display. The notifier power lies in its flexibility. You can configure multiple display lines, text size, formatting, and even have scrolling displays for longer inputs. Its proportional font ensures optimal use of screen space. And with features like message joining, ensures that you optimize that screen space. So you can have something along the lines, Jake, 27 years of age, Sagittarius, New York City, all onto a single display. Notably, Second Sight Long Range contains two independent radio transmitters. The first transmits over Bluetooth to the Unifi app, while the second sends data directly to Notifier and the Thumper. This dual radio transmitter architecture means that even if the Unifi app is not running, Notifier and the Thumper can still receive RFID data, enabling fast and ultra-reliable reveals without the need to having a phone nearby. Now, Unifi Intelligence is not just a utility, it's an artificial intelligence designed exclusively for magicians. Feed it any word, phrase, or detail, and Unifi can return a creative, context-aware response, such as a short story, a poem, a psychological profile, or a surreal monologue. You can even produce real social media posts, trivia, or fortune cookie style messages. Unifi Intelligence can merge information from multiple sources, such as electronic impression pads, the magician's calculator, inject, voice recognition, and of course, Second Sight Long Range, allowing highly entertaining and realistic confabulation routines. This is AI built with performance and entertainers in mind. Unifi also powers the book test feature, allowing you to turn any ordinary book into a powerful utility. First, Second Sight Long Range can detect which book has been selected by the spectator. Then, when the spectator chooses a billet or the written word, Unifi will identify the exact location of that word, the page, the line, and the position within the selected book. No memory work, no fishing, no forces, just smart, magical automation. The image processor is a visual powerhouse. It allows scanned data to be superimposed on static images in real time, producing photorealistic reveals that live on your device's photo gallery. Think of it as a magician's version of Photoshop, or hermetically overlaying a chosen card or name onto a boarding pass, a newspaper, or even into the hands of a person holding the photo. Each RFID scan triggers a transformation. So for example, the spectator selects the Queen of Hearts and a photo appears in your gallery showing you holding the exact card. The system supports layered reveals, dynamic text, masked graphics, blur, feathering, and shadowing, ensuring that the illusion is indistinguishable from reality. Even if a specific image is not pre-programmed, the artificial intelligence can go out and grab the corresponding image and insert that image into your photorealistic revelation. Scribe allows scanned RFID tags to produce real-world printed predictions on a thermal receipt paper. This system supports both text-based and image-based reveals and seamlessly integrates with the image editor to customize each print. For example, you can program Scribe to print a lottery ticket showing spectators lucky numbers, or produce a boarding pass for their dream vacation. You can even print multiple revelations on different parts of the page, ideal for layered effects. Your setup supports fail-safes, dynamic templates, and can optionally save the images to your camera roll or upload them via FTP to your website or to the cloud. The Magician's Calculator is a specially designed tool for mentalists and magicians that interprets spectators' inputs, such as birth dates, zip codes, random numbers, and translates these into high-impact reveals like star signs, ages, city names, and force numbers. It's perfect for performing numeric forces or building routines around patterns, mathematical outcomes, and personal data. What elevates this tool even further is its real-time adaptability. You can update the force number on the fly by simply scanning a new RFID tag, instantly reconfiguring the calculator's result logic without even touching the app. You can also use second sight long range to dynamically change profiles mid-performance. So for example, you can seamlessly switch from say a personal profile, such as obtaining their birth date and their zip code, to a lotto profile, where they're now entering lottery numbers. Even better, once you've paired this with Notifier, the calculator can display multiple joined messages, combining the birthday, age, star sign and city right onto the Notifier display. The Notifier uses a proportional font to maximize screen real estate so that the long reveals remain legible and elegant. The Send SMS functionality lets second sight long range communicate directly with an assistant via a text message. This opens the door to collaborative performances where an off-stage assistant receives key information and delivers the relevant information via a phone call, FaceTime, or even a live interaction. Setup is straightforward. Enter the assistant's number, choose how many scanned events should trigger the message, and second sight long range takes care of the rest. It can notify your team of the chosen card, selected city, the thought or word, giving them the tool to be part of the illusion without needing proximity or timing cues. It's automation meets stagecraft.
3 of diamonds. 9 of clubs.
Hi Nathan, how's it going? Good, thanks. Hey, yourself? I've got a couple of spectators here. They've chosen some cards. Would you have any idea what those 2 cards could be?
I'm getting a feeling 3 of diamonds and the 9 of clubs.
That's incredible because that's actually the cards.
Oh,
they
there we
chose.
go.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Cheers.
Prevision integration takes revelations to the realm of cinema. Developed by Renee Nijman of Next Level Effects, Prevision allows you to embed text, images, or times into pre-recorded videos that update in real time. When combined with second sight long range, you can scan RFID inputs and generate fully customized videos that appear to be recorded days or weeks in advance. So for example, a scan tag could instruct the system to insert the name Sydney onto a chalkboard, to play Harrison Ford on a movie poster, and update the time on the clock in the background, all rendered and timestamped as if it was filmed earlier. This integration can even backdate metadata, adjust the GPS coordinates, and save videos directly onto the camera roll. For performers looking to combine storytelling, tech, and real-time impact, Prevision is just unparalleled. Inject is one of the most powerful phone-based mentalism tools. Created by Greg Ristami, and Second Sight Long Range integrates with it flawlessly. When a card or concept is scanned, it can instantly redirect the spectator's phone on their own phone to a YouTube video or a web page that reveals the selected item. The setup is minimal. You just enter your Inject ID in once, enable integration, and Second Sight Long Range will do the rest. You can optionally link a thumper button to control the moment the effect happens, or you can run the effect entirely on autopilot. The effect is deeply impactful. The spectator opens the browser and sees a video of their chosen card already revealed, as if the universe knew it all along. Second Sight Long Range isn't just about stage magic. It's a content creation powerhouse. With integrations for Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, you can push revelations, teasers, or fully automated status updates to your social media feed in real time. Imagine directing your audience to your social media profile for the reveal. Not only does this provide a modern revelation technique, but it boosts your follower and subscriber base every single show. RFID scans can update your profile text, change your profile photo, adjust your banner image, and even create posts and tweets all automatically. The Stranger, created by Jonathan Levitt, allows a stranger or your accomplice to call a spectator and seemingly confirm their thought of or chosen item. Second Sight Long Range integrates directly with the Stranger app to send selections automatically. While Unifi already replicates many of these features natively, the integration offers compatibility for performers who use the Stranger as part of their act. The Nexus app, also from Jonathan Levitt, supports queued routines for rich storytelling experiences. Second Sight Long Range can trigger content within Nexus, but again, much of this functionality is already available within Unifi's own automation tools. The integration exists for interoperability, not a necessity. The Audience Wonderland Lumen polling integration allows any information from Second Sight Long Range to be sent to the Audience Wonderland ecosystem. So this means that you can get visual confirmation from things like Spectra, Prism, and the Lumen Eye. And the Thumper just isn't for the performer. You can do ghost typing using the Thumper in Second Sight. With this feature, Second Sight Long Range can be configured to ghost type the RFID tags description directly onto the spectator's phone, making it seem as though the phone is mysteriously typing out a message on its own. Second Sight Long Range transmits the information directly to the Thumper, which in turn discreetly types the message onto the spectator's screen. This creates an incredibly personal and magical moment as the words materialise before their eyes without any visible input. Whether you're revealing a name, a number, or a phrase, the Thumper turns the reveal into a tactile experience, bridging the digital and magical worlds seamlessly. With this many integrations at your disposal, Second Sight Long Range isn't just a product, it's a platform. One that adapts to your creative needs, scales to your ambitions, integrates invisibly into your act. Whether you're crafting a poetic AI-driven reveal or creating a cinematic prediction using Prevision, Second Sight Long Range delivers performance that feels like magic. Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to demystify the RFID technology that's at the heart of Second Sight Long Range. So whether you're brand new to the concept of RFID or already have some familiarity, I'm going to keep this explanation crystal clear and relevant to magicians. So let's start with the basics. RFID stands for radio frequency identification. Sometimes you might hear the term NFC, that stands for near field communications. So NFC is technically a subset of RFID. Within the range of RFID, you've got what you call passive and non-passive devices for RFID. A passive RFID tag means that it doesn't have a battery source. It uses wireless energy. And that's specifically what we're using as magicians, and what the industry uses is really NFC. So simply put, an RFID tag will store information on the tag, and when an RFID reader, in this case Second Sight Long Range, it will emit a special radio signal that the tag picks up the energy, responds with its stored data, and then the reader instantly knows which tag it's talking to. No wires, no direct contact, just invisible radio waves. So why is that such a big deal for us as mentalists and magicians? Because it lets us secretly identify from a distance which item the spectator is holding, which card they chose, or even which object is being moved to or from a table. It happens quickly and in real time, and the spectator has no idea what's going on. So let's break down the three common RFID protocols that we're seeing within the magic community. So the first protocol is ISO 14443A. So this is often used for things like contactless payments or entry cards. Typically, you have to be really close, within about 100 millimeters or about 4 inches. If you've ever tapped a subway card or a credit card, you've used ISO 14443A. The next protocol is ISO 15693. It's got a little bit more range than ISO 14443A, but in short, it's still around about 130 millimeters or about 5 inches. So it's a small improvement, and some of the more advanced magic props use ISO 15693 to gain that 30% extra range. Now both ISO 14443A and ISO 15693, they use the same frequency. They both use 13.64 megahertz. So things like Second Sight, that works with both of those. Things like Hugo Shelley's original Insight RFID reader, that just supported the ISO 14443A. But with Second Sight Long Range, we've developed a proprietary RFID protocol. So this is where Second Sight Long Range really is leaps and bounds ahead of the competitors. We've designed a specialized system capable of reading RFID tags for a range of 3.5 meters. So that's about 11 feet. Truly unheard of in a typical magic environment. So this is at the core reason why Second Sight Long Range represents such a game changer. You can now read information from a massive distance away. So you might be wondering, why do the older systems only scan a few inches, whereas Second Sight Long Range can go meters? Well, a big part of the story is something called the inverse square law. Now that might sound very technical and very fancy, but it's essentially the idea that as you double your distance from a signal source, the strength of that signal doesn't just halve, it's reduced by a factor of 4. Think of it like a shining flashlight on a wall in a dark room. Up close, the light's very bright in a small circle. Step a few feet back, as the light spreads out, it becomes dimmer. That's the same principle applies to RFID signals. Usually an RFID tag is only designed for short distances, like scanning your ID badge at the door or paying your credit card bill. But with Second Sight Long Range, we overcame these signal losses by carefully designing powerful antennas with advanced signal processing, letting us to achieve a range of 3.5 meters to a reliable scanning distance. But there's lots of factors that determine how far an RFID system can read. So obviously the reader power, the output power of Second Sight Long Range, and the antenna size. The more power and more carefully tuned the antenna is, the greater that signal can be pushed. So you can't modify that because that's fixed within Second Sight Long Range. The tag design, so the actual chip that's inside the playing card, the larger the antenna, the more energy it can capture. And we've carefully designed a proprietary antenna to maximize that energy. And then finally, and probably the most important factor for us as performers, is the environment. So metal surfaces, liquids, or interference from other devices can drastically change the range that you can read. So when we say 3.5 meters, that's with Second Sight being parallel to the card being read. So if I get a Second Sight up like this and parallel to that, that is going to be the optimal
Ace of diamonds.
Ace of diamonds. But if you place the playing card into, or the spectator places it into, say, their jeans pocket, and you've got Second Sight Long Range in your jeans pocket, well, a lot of the RFID energy is going to be absorbed by the clothes that you're wearing, by your skin. So that will reduce the range probably to about a meter. So if you have something in open air, so there's nothing between Second Sight Long Range and the card that's being read, that's about 3.5 meters. But if you put a thin piece of aluminum foil, that's all it will take to stop the RFID, because the aluminum foil is a great conductor of electricity, so it will just absorb all the RFID energy. We're talking about very, very small levels of energy that need to be absorbed. So it's critical that when you're when you're performing your effect, before you start performing, you need to understand what the constraints are and practice with a real world environment, because these ranges will vary. But you've always got a backup measure, because the closer you get to the card, the more energy you're going to get, and you will read that card. So let me give you an example. Let's say you've got the spectators go out in their top pocket, and you've got second sight long range in your top pocket, and you're at 3 meters. You don't need to panic when you don't get the RFID range. You just walk closer to the spectator. So because second sight can always be scanning for those tags. But obviously the further the distance is, the more impressive a feat it seems, because there can't be any sleight of hand going on at these massive ranges. So as you just saw, so within these playing cards, we have they're microscopic. You can't see
King of Spades.
You can't see the RFID tag within here. They just look like normal cards, and they pretty much handle. So if I grab some of these cards out, so you can just take those cards. They actually faro quite well. So if you just take these cards, so you can see almost a perfect faro. So you can do a shuffle quite happily like that. You can still do all the typical sleights. They don't spread as nicely because we've made these out of a PVC. Because the cards are expensive, we didn't want to use cardboard. So even though a typical cardboard would give us longevity with the actual devices, with the playing cards, if you're performing environments where you're going to get water on them, or wine or beer, we didn't want those cards to deteriorate over the passage of time. As PVC, they are waterproof. You can just clean them all up the following day, and away you go. Now the tags themselves, there's a whole myriad of different formats. So you can see that we've got some tarot cards,
Wheel of Fortune.
and some of these tags can be, so this is what's actually inside. Let me have a look here.
Square.
So now we're seeing it's picking up, and you can see this tiny little tag and how thin it is. It's 0.1 of a millimeter
Large.
thick. And
Large.
you get tags down to this size here. That tag can be detected at a range of 130 millimeters with second sight long range. So again, because second sight long range is so powerful now, you can get a smaller tag with massive read range. Before, with ISO 15693, they had to be the size of a playing card to be detected at 130 millimeters. So another point is all the information is stored on the tag itself. So that's really quite clever, because that means that each tag has a unique ID and the text is stored on the tag itself. So maybe it's the name of the playing card, like 7 of Hearts, or maybe it's a web link to be revealed, or a piece of custom text that you can plan within the trick. And in the Unifi app, you can program these tags however you like, giving you total creative freedom to build cunning routines that can revolve around a simple but brilliant concept: invisible detection from a distance. So imagine a spectator shuffles and selects a card, hides it in their pocket. Thanks to second sight long range, the moment they do that, you'll know exactly which card they've picked, and the power of an advanced RFID mechanism that's all invisible, all automatic, and completely deceptive. So just wrapping up, ISO 14443A and ISO 15693, they're the older protocols, typically limited to a few inches of read range. Our proprietary long-range RFID protocol extends out to 3.5 meters, a revolutionary distance. The inverse square law and environmental factors usually kept RFID range, but we've overcome them with innovative hardware and proprietary algorithms. And you can store card names, instructions, or entire revelations inside the RFID tags and cards. opening up a near infinite number of possibilities for magical routines. So that's the essence of how Second Sight Long Range uses RFID. In our next segment, we'll dive deeper into the actual hardware, the settings, and exactly how to integrate these tags into your performances. I can't wait to show you more. Hey everyone, and welcome to this segment on the physical layout of Second Sight Long Range. I'm going to walk you through each of the key features: its size, battery charging, the power button, sensors, and also demonstrating turning the device on and off. Plus, I'll show you how it integrates with the notifier to give you real-time feedback. So first, let's talk about the dimensions of Second Sight Long Range. So Second Sight Long Range, it measures 90mm by 64mm by 18mm. This is effectively the same size as a deck of playing cards. And that's by no accident. We've designed it specifically to be able to demonstrate right into a tuck box. Now, one of the great things about this, we've actually designed it so that the button here protrudes slightly. What that means is once it's inside of the tuck box, you can just press the top of the tuck box to access that button. You don't need to open it up to be able to access. So you'll see it fits perfectly in, and lets you access the device entirely concealed while still being able to press a button through that flap. So that's important. If you've got Second Sight just sitting on the desk, you can pick up Second Sight, tap the button to do, say, a manual scan in the process of moving that tuck box to another location. So it's a very discreet method to be able to activate the device. Inside Second Sight Long Range is an 800 milliamp hour battery, and the charge time depends on your power supply. So anywhere between 1.5 and 3 hours. A higher output wall adapter will charge Second Sight Long Range faster, and a lower powered charge will take a little bit longer. Whilst it's charging, you'll see the charging LED will glow red, and once it's fully charged, it will go to a solid green. So if you just plug in the USB port, you'll see that it's now a solid red, and that will go to a solid green once it's fully charged. The charging LED is separate to the main status LED, and it exists to be able to keep you informed about the battery status during charging. So just to the left, from your perspective, of the charging LED is the micro USB port. You simply just plug the cable in here, connect it to a wall adapter, and watch for the charging LED to turn green. This is your signal that Second Sight Long Range is fully charged. Just to the left here, you'll see that there is a mode selection button. So this large protruding button is your power and mode selection button. This is essentially the control hub for Second Sight Long Range. You can power the device on and on with a long press, and tap it a specific number of times to toggle various functions, like the onboard vibrator motor or specialized programming functions. Because it protrudes slightly, you can activate or press it even through the tuck box flap, which is really handy if you want to keep Second Sight hidden from view. So let me quickly demonstrate this turning on. So I'll just turn it on, and you'll see Second Sight says powering up.
Sight connected.
And you have heard that it's automatically paired to the app. So to turn Second Sight on, press and hold this button for 2 seconds, and you'll feel a short vibration and see the status LED will flash. At that point, the device is booted up. To turn Second Sight off, just press and hold that same button. You'll also feel a longer vibration and see
Sight R disconnected.
and see different LED indication, and you'll get text to speech on the app telling you that's being disconnected. So as you saw that we have notify here, and that will tell you straight away that Second Sight is turned on. We'll show you the battery status, the RFID protocol being used, and the firmware version, as well as the serial number. Next, note, whilst you can't see it in here, it's got a magnetic field sensor. So if you're wearing a PK ring, then if you want to activate Second Sight, when it's in manual mode, just wave your PK ring, and that will tell Second Sight to initiate a manual RFID scan. So normally second sight long range is scanning either once a second or once every quarter of a second, depending on your scan speed, but it can operate in manual mode. And in manual mode, it wants the presence of a PK ring to then activate it. And finally, we have the status LED. So the status LED will flash and change color during scans or if there's an issue. So if second sight detects an RFID tag successfully, you'll see it will flash briefly in green if you've got the status LED function enabled. If the battery is low or there's some error, you might see this go red. So this LED is configurable using the second sight long range app, and it's very useful for on-the-fly confirmation everything's working. We've also got an external button here. So this is a 3.5mm audio jack. We don't use it for audio. This is for an external button. So that's it. That's the physical tour of second sight long range, from its deck of card size and charging system, to the power button that doubles as a mode selector, to the PK ring sensor and the status LED for discrete scanning. Remember, if you're using Notifier, it's important for real-time details like your battery level and firmware version from the moment second sight will power up. In the next portion of this tutorial, we'll explore the software side, adjusting sensitivity, setting up integrations, and writing custom RFID tags. Until then, keep your second sight charged, and we'll see you in the next chapter. Hello again everyone. In this chapter, we're going to focus on the button operations of second sight long range. So even though there's just one main button on the device, it actually performs a variety of critical functions, from powering on and off to toggling specialized probing modes. Let's go through each one carefully so that you know exactly what to press and when to press it. First up is powering the device on and off. So when second sight is completely off, pressing and holding the power button for a couple of seconds will turn it on. You'll feel two short vibrations and see a brief LED flash indicating that second sight long range has powered up and it's ready to go. Conversely, to power it down is to do the same thing. You press and hold the power button until you sense a longer vibration or see a LED flash. So let's just show you this very quickly. So if I take the second sight long range, there's the power button. I press and hold to turn on. And you'll notice that on Notifier, you'll get a power up message, and they'll say something along the lines, second sight long range, power up, battery's good, firmware version, and a serial number.
Sight LR.
And you'll also hear they'll automatically connect to the app. So as you saw on Notifier, it gave a confirmation that the unit is powered up and it's all ready to go. To power the unit down, you do the same thing, just press and hold to turn off. And you'll see that on Notifier it says powering down.
Sight LR disconnected.
And you get confirmation from the app to say it's been disconnected. So now I'll just turn it back on again for a moment.
Sight LR connected.
And let's talk about the various functions that you have. So the first function is the single tap mode. If you have manual scan mode enabled in second sight long range, a single tap on the power button will initiate an immediate scan. So that's useful if you want second sight to scan at specific times without relying on the automated version or using a PK ring. So with second sight long range, you've got three modes of operation. One mode is the high speed scan mode, and that means every quarter of a second, second sight long range is looking for RFID tags. You've got the normal mode of operation, that's every second, and then you've got a manual mode of operation. In the manual mode of operation, either you just tap this button once to activate, or you can use a PK ring, or you can use the app and you can use the thumper. So I'll just demonstrate this quickly. So I have just one playing card, the King of Spades. I'm just going to tap this once.
King of Spades.
And likewise, if I clear that down now,
King of spades.
Alternative is I can be wearing a PK ring. If that PK ring gets close to second sight,
King of spades.
it'll automatically activate it as
King of
well.
spades.
Now the next mode of
King of
operation
spades.
is you can use a double tap. So quickly press this button to toggle the onboard vibrator motor on and off. If the motor is currently enabled, a double tap will turn it off. And if it's off, a double tap will turn it on. If you have a notifier, you'll see something like motor off or motor on, and it'll pop up immediately on the screen. Let's just do that quickly. So you can see here, it says second sight vibrator off. And now vibrator on. So moving on to the triple tap. 3 quick presses activate the numeric programming mode. So this is often used for assigning RFID tags with the numbers 1 through 13. This can be handy for special item handling and labeling. We need to have a short reference to identify an object. You'll see the LED will flash red continuously, and then the green will flash when a tag is successfully programmed. Press the button once, again if you want to exit that mode. A quadruple tap. So next is the quadruple tap. This puts second sight long range into card programming mode. In this mode, you can assign values from ace through to king in chased order. So clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds, to program a brand new RFID deck. So if you get a new RFID deck that's unprogrammed, quadruple press the mode button, and then it'll program from ace through the king, all the clubs, ace to the king, all the hearts, ace to king for spades, and ace to king for the diamonds. And finally, there's the quintuple tap mode. 5 rapid presses will toggle the RFID sensitivity through the levels of extra low, low, medium, and high. So if you're working in a small space, you say you want to do a close-up performance, then you may want to set this to extra low, because that'll only give you about 150 millimeters of read range. Because you don't want to unintentionally detect RFID tags in a broader range. But if you're on stage or you want to use it from a distance, you may want to set this as high mode. So to demonstrate that, if I just tap this 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm currently in high mode, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Currently in extra low mode, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back into low mode, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Medium, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're now back to high power mode. So throughout all of these taps, second sight long range communicates back to you either via the flashing of the LEDs or by vibrations if the onboard motor is enabled. And if you've got to notify, each action can also be displayed there in real time. If you enter a specific programming mode, such as card programming mode, it will display the cards as you're being programmed. So let's just quickly recap. Long press the power button to turn it on, long press to turn it off. If you're in the manual scan mode, a single tap will tell second sight long range to do an RFID scan. You'll double tap to turn the vibrate motor on or off, triple tap for numeric programming mode, quadruple tap to go to card programming mode, and quintuple tap to change the sensitivity. Once you get these patterns down, you find it incredibly intuitive to manage second sight long range right from that single protruding button, which is even accessible through the tuck box. In the next chapter, we'll explore how these modes come into actual real life performances, assigning numbers to tags, adjusting scanning range for stage illusions, and more. Let's keep going. Welcome back. In this chapter, we're going to walk you through pairing second sight long range with the Unifi app so you can start leveraging all the advanced features and settings. So before we begin, make sure that the Unifi app is installed on your phone or on your tablet. make sure that you've turned Bluetooth on in your device's settings. Make sure that your second sight long range is charged and it's currently powered off, so we're getting ready to pair. And also make sure that you've enabled Bluetooth permissions. So when the Unifi app is initially installed, it requests permission to access Bluetooth. If you denied permission during the installation process, then you need to manually activate that. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to check these. So on your iPhone, click on settings, go into Bluetooth, and you'll see that you've got Bluetooth. You can turn it off or on. You must have Bluetooth on in order to be able to pair second sight long range with the Unifi app. The second component of this is making sure that you've given permission to the Unifi app to access Bluetooth. So again, you just go to the apps area, search for Unifi, and you'll see this option just here, Bluetooth. Make sure that it's on. It will be on if you allow it during the installation process. So once you've done that, let's just run the Unifi app. So once the app powers up, you will need to connect. You'll need to pair second sight long range with the Unifi app. So you go into the main menu, go to settings, go to devices, go to second sight, and tap on pair second sight. So at this stage, you're ready to pair. Let's turn our second sight long range on. Just press and hold this button. And you'll see that on the notifier, it's displaying that second sight is powering up. And you'll see now it's popped up with an unpaired second sight. So tap on second sight long range and say yes.
Sight detected.
So now we've paired second sight long range with the Unifi app. Another advantage with Unifi is one of the coolest features is that we can pair multiple second sight units, including second sight version 2 and second sight long range, with the app. So I'll just demonstrate this quickly. I've got a second sight version 2 here. I'll power that up. Tap on pair.
Sight V2 connected.
So now I've got second sight long range and second sight version 2 both connected. Now both of these operate on different frequencies, so they won't interfere with one another. And you can also have multiple second sight long ranges connected. So by placing more than one unit around the stage, you can create a ubiquitous coverage, ensuring no matter where the spectator takes out a tagged item, you can still detect this instantly. This is incredibly useful for large scale illusions or multi-spectator acts, giving you the powerful new possibilities for real-time detection across a very large performance area. Once second sight long range is paired, the Unifi app will remember it. So the next time you power up second sight long range, it will automatically reconnect without you having to repeat these steps. If for some reason you need to change phones or unpair, then you go through the same process again in the devices menu and just pair the unit again. Now that we've set up the connection, we can dive deeper into the sensitivity controls, the debalance timers, vibration settings, and everything else that you need to make second sight truly a game changer RFID device for mentalists. Let's move on to these settings. Welcome back. In this chapter, I'll show you how to fine-tune your second sight long range by exploring the second sight settings menu. These options let you customize your device's behavior, like read range, battery utilization, and notifications, so it perfectly fits your performance style. So first up is the description field. You can rename your device from something generic, like second sight long range, to something more personal, maybe stage if you do large stage shows, or my SSLR for close-up, or it could be table 1. This appears in your Unifi app device list or on the notify screen whenever second sight connects. Next is the serial number. Now this is a unique ID that ensures your notifier or your thumper only responds to your second sight long range, even if other magicians are using Unifi products close by. Usually you won't change it It's just good to know that it's there for advanced scenarios like multi-performer shows. So imagine you're performing at the Magic Castle and you've got another magician performing next to you with second sight long range. In that situation, you want to register your second sight long range with a unique serial number, so your notifier only responds to your second sight long range and not the person who's next to you. The RFID protocol. Now here the only option is long range when you're connected to second sight long range. If you're connected to second sight version 2, then you have options of ISO 14443A, ISO 15693, or in fact on second sight 2 you can do both of those protocols. But with second sight long range, you've only got a single option, which is the long range. So let's talk for a moment about sensitivity, which governs your approximate read range. So you've got 4 settings here. You've got the extra low range, so that's only around about 100 millimeters. So perfect for extremely close-up scenarios. So if you've got second sight long range under the table or hidden within inside a box, and once the playing card or the RFID object is placed on top of second sight or within that 100 millimeters, then it'll be reported. You've got a low power mode, which is a 1 meter range. So great for sort of parlor and close up, and that avoids scanning objects that are too far away. You've got a medium mode, which is 2 meters. So enough for larger living rooms and small stages. So a comfortable size, but again, 2 meters. And then you've got the high power mode, which is a 3.5 meter range. So truly for big effects and stage illusions. Those ranges I've quoted, that is quoted when it's open air. So that means that there's nothing between second sight long range and the RFID gaffed object. So if a spectator is holding a playing card like this, right, there's nothing covering the antenna, then that will give you 3.5 meters when you're running in high power mode. But if the spectator is covering their hand or covering the card like this, then the range will drop off to about 1 meter in the high power mode. So the reason why that is that water, which your body is made out of, that is a conductor of electricity. So as the RFID field is heading towards you like this, it's absorbing a portion of that RFID field. And as we touched on the earlier videos, that you've got radio frequency and light, they apply what they call the inverse square law. So you need 4 times as much power for twice the distance. So that means when you cover it, it drops off quite rapidly. At this sort of a range though, you can quite comfortably have a playing card in the spectator's pocket. You've got second sight long range in your jeans pocket, and if you're in about 1 meter in high power mode, you'll still obtain an RFID read. Let's talk for a moment about scan speed. So with scan speed, you've got 2 modes of operation. In normal mode, and this is the default setting, you'll scan once every second. So it's a great balance of speed versus battery use. Most of the time, 1 second is more than adequate for you to obtain a read. However, in high speed mode, we're scanning at 4 times per second. But this means we're consuming 4 times as much battery life because we're scanning 4 times as more frequently. So if you're dealing cards onto the table and you want to be able to make sure that you grab the card or that second sight grabs that read, set it to high speed mode, you can almost deal cards out and you'll still get the RFID range. And then there's a feature called ignore duplicate scans. So this stops receiving the same notification from the same tag when they're still within read range. So I'll give you an example of this. Imagine that we've got 3 cards. Now, if these are within the scan range of second sight long range, it's going to scan king, the 3 and the 2, and you'll get that notification. If you enable the ignore duplicate scan, then we'll ignore these cards for a designated time period. If you don't do that and these cards still remain within range, you'll then start getting them red again. So for example, if you have a multi-spectator routine where each person might handle the same tagged item, set a 5-minute window so second sight long range won't keep re-reporting that same object that's being scanned. This keeps your notifier, your thumper from spamming you when you only want one real notification of the read. Another example could be a lotto ticket or lotto cards. You might get spectators to throw lotto cards into a bag and second sight is scanning those lotto tickets. Let's say spectator number 1 chooses lotto ticket or lotto number 10, and then spectator number 2 selects number 11. You don't want to scan the 10 multiple times. So what you'll do is that routine might last 10 minutes. So set your debounce timer at 10 minutes. So you'll scan the first lotto card, but you'll ignore that lotto card for a further 10 more minutes, and then you'll report it again. So that's the concept of why you have a debounce timer. You also have a sleep timer, and this manages how long second sight long range stays active before it goes to sleep. So if you set for 5 hours, then second sight after 5 hours will turn itself off or go into ultra low power mode. But if you're table hopping, you might just want to turn it on and off as you go. It's very simple to turn second sight on and off. You just press and hold the power button, so it's easily accessible. And then you've got another feature called the memory timer. So the memory timer helps second sight long range store scans if your phone is out of range temporarily. So normally what happens with second sight, if we scan a playing card with second sight, so we scan the 2 of spades, then you'll hear the 2 of spades, and that will be sent through to any of the integrations supported by second sight long range. But imagine that you're on stage and you've left your phone on stage and you've walked to the back of the audience, and a spectator has selected a playing card, they've selected the 2 of spades, and we're 50 meters away from your phone. If you use the memory timer, then second sight long range will remember it's scanned the 2 of spades, and once it gets back into range, then it will send those scanned cards back to the app, and then you'll get back to your earpiece and all the other functionality will be restored. But you specify what time period this is. You don't want to walk out of range and then scan a playing card, and 1 hour later walk back into range and then get told it's the 2 of spades. Or you may want to do that, it just depends on what your performance is. But you can specify what that time period is. The next option is register to the notifier or the thumper. So we touched on this before, but registered mode is a feature in the second sight long range system and also the broader Unifi ecosystem that determines which notifier or thumper or device receives data from a scan. When registered mode is turned on, second sight long range will only send and scan its data to a notifier or a thumper that has been specifically registered to it. So technically actually what's happening is whenever second sight scans a playing card or scans an RFID object, it broadcasts that information. It goes out and says, hey, I'm second sight, my serial number is 1234, and I've just scanned the Queen of Hearts. Every notifier and every thumper within earshot distance will receive that message. But if that notifier or the thumper is running in registered mode, the first thing it does is says, hey, I've got a message from serial number 1234. Is that serial number for me? And it will then look up its database of listed serial numbers and says, aha, we have 1234. I've got a device registered as 1234. I will display that information. If it can't find that serial number, it just discards it. So going back to the scenario, we've got 2 performers at the Magic Castle. One is, say, in the upstairs theatre, and the other one's in the downstairs theatre. In the upstairs theatre, they might have serial number 1000 and you might have serial number 2000 downstairs. If they're both running in registered mode, every time the one upstairs receives a signal, it will say, hey, I'm serial number 1000, this is the message. Now that could be received by both notifiers, upstairs and downstairs, but the one downstairs says, you know what, I don't have a serial number 1000 registered with me, I'm going to ignore that message. With registered mode turned off, second sight long range broadcasts at every notifier and thumper that is within earshot distance will display that information. The enable status LED toggles a small LED flash during scans or mode changes. So this is useful during testing to make sure that all your props are working. You can scan the RFID tags, but in performance, you don't want to have a flashing light going off. So I'll just turn this off in performance, but on. In this section, we're going to explore one of the most powerful parts of the Unifi system, the ability to write and fully customize your RFID tags. This gives you complete control over how your props behave during performance and how they interact with your reveals, integrations, and other connected devices. Before we dive into each field, it's important to mention that when you begin writing RFID tags with second sight long range, the system automatically switches into the extra low power mode. This is a safety mechanism. It drastically reduces the read and write range of second sight long range so that you don't accidentally overwrite or reprogram any nearby tags. So if you've got a stack of props on your desk, only the one that is brought into very close proximity will be programmed. So let's walk through the process of programming an RFID tag. When you select the right RFID tags section within the app, you'll be presented with a variety of customizable fields. These fields will allow you to fine-tune exactly what each tag does. And here's what each one means. Description. This is the main text label associated with the tag. It's used throughout the Unifi ecosystem. It appears on the notifier visual display. It's spoken aloud via the text-to-speech if that integration is enabled, and it's shown on the status screen in the app and also on any connected smartwatches. If the description field is left blank, Unifi automatically falls back to using the value and the suit fields if they're set. So for example, if you had the Queen of Hearts and you had a blank description field, then the app would automatically insert the text Queen of Hearts for you. But within the description field, you can enter any kind of text that you want here. It could be Lotto 7, Rome, Al Pacino, Luke Skywalker, whatever the text is that is associated with the tag. The value in the suit fields, they're only used when you're programming standard RFID playing cards. So for example, if you're creating a deck of RFID playing cards, select Queen as the value and Hearts for the suit. These fields work in tandem with other fields like the automatic vibration coding and the playing card graphic rendering. If you're using something like a celebrity card or a custom object, you can ignore these fields. If you're creating a tarot deck using RFID tags, then this drop-down allows you to choose from a library of predefined tarot cards. Leave this field blank if you're not using tarot in your routine. Now let's move into the revelation section. These are the fields that dictate what happens when the RFID tag is scanned in terms of reveals and integrations. The text field, this is the core data field that is pushed out to all the integrations. This is where the magic really happens. This text you enter in here will be sent to any of the dozens of platforms and reveal systems supported by Unifi. So this includes examples like the image editor, Prevision, Inject, the inbuilt book test, the impression note, the clipboard, the Stranger and Nexus, SMS reveals, even the time to set to Magician's Watches. We'll cover all of these integrations in more detail in a few more chapters in. But the important point here is that this is the text that goes to the reveal systems, not the description text. The description text goes to the notifier and text-to-speech, but that could be different to the text that you actually want to be able to do the revelation on. So examples of this field might be Al Pacino, the 13th of September 2006, 12:24, New York, The Godfather, lotto ticket number 38. It could be anything that you want to be able to send. Now the search URL, this allows you to push a specific website to a spectator's phone using the fake Google search built into the Unifi platform. So for example, you could go onto Wikipedia, search for Harrison Ford, copy the Wikipedia URL for Harrison Ford, and then paste that into the search URL. And then that URL gets pushed to the spectator's phone. The image revelation, this is the image that gets sent through to the image processor if you're using photorealistic overlays. So for example, if you're doing a movie poster reveal, you could assign an image of The Godfather poster in here. And when that tag is scanned, this image is sent to the image editor, which in turn overlays that photograph onto you holding a poster or onto a billboard in a photo. The vibrate sequence customization. You can assign custom vibration codes to each tag. Now, there are two vibration sequences available, the first vibrate and the second vibrate. And these are, when second site does its vibration sequence, it will then provide a pause of 1 second between the first vibrate sequence and the second vibrate sequence. And Unifi uses the base 6 encoding system. What I mean by that is a short vibrate has a value of 1 and a long vibrate has a value of 5. So for example, if you're trying to communicate the value of 6, that would be a long vibrate followed by a short vibrate. If you're trying to communicate the number 7, that would be a long vibrate for a 5 followed by 2 short vibrates. These vibrate sequences are felt through the thumper, also by the onboard vibrator built into second sight long range. And you can assign a vibrate pattern for the main revelation and a second sequence for additional details, such as a suit or a category. So again, as an example of that, the most common example is in a playing card, where the first vibrate sequence is in chased order, so 1 for a club, 2 for hearts, 3 for spades, 4 for diamonds. Then there's a pause, and then we get a second vibrate sequence to represent the value of the playing card. But that same approach could be applied to anything. It could be an index for a movie. So a vibrate sequence of 1 might mean Star Wars, a vibrate sequence of 2 might mean Back to the Future, a vibrate sequence of 3 might be Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then the second vibrate sequence might mean which actor they've chosen. A 1 could be Luke Skywalker, a 2 could be Han Solo, 3 could be Princess Leia. Now here's another great feature, which is the command feature. So this field allows you to assign in-app commands that are executed the moment the tag is scanned. Now, as you'll see, there's a whole stack of various options that you have in here. I won't go through every single option. I'll just give you a couple of examples. So the process of scanning an RFID tag can instruct second sight to switch which scribe template is being used. So you might ask a spectator to choose their favorite airline. If they choose United Airlines, or they choose American Airlines, or Southwest, or British Airways, the process of scanning that tag can tell the image editor to change which template they're using. So this is really powerful because it allows you to totally change the printed prediction, not just by inserting different fields, but totally changing that template from a United boarding pass to a British Airways boarding pass. You can also switch toxic profiles. So without having to rehandle the magician's phone, you can get the spectator to type in their favourite lotto numbers, hand the phone to another spectator, you scan an RFID tag, and now you've switched that profile to be personal information. So you ask them to type in a big number, type in the month, multiply by the day they were born, multiply by the year that they were born, and this feature allows you to switch which toxic profile is in use. You can control your audio profiles, so you can pause the audio or start the audio again. It could be to select a particular book, so you give the spectator a free choice of a dozen different books. They choose one book, so they choose The Invisible Man. That could contain an RFID tag. Second Sight scans that RFID tag to then tell the app that the spectator has chosen The Invisible Man. So there's dozens and dozens of various commands that you can execute, but the important thing to take away here is this can change which workflows you're using by scanning the tag. You've also got the option to change which image is popping up. So this is the image that has been displayed on the iPhone and the Apple Watch, and also a notify if you have that option enabled. So it's useful when you have a visual reinforcement of a character, a location, or a card. So for example, it could be a picture of a movie character, an image of a flag or for a country routine, or a visual cue for a prediction envelope. So you just tap on that to select which image you want. So now we'll go through a couple of worked examples in the next chapter. Now that you've seen how we can program individual vibration sequences on a tag by tag basis, let's take a deeper look at the global vibration settings for the Second Sight long range device itself. These are the settings that control how Second Sight long range vibrates, regardless of what information is being sent. And they're found under Settings, Devices, Second Sight, Vibrate Settings. Let's walk through each of these options together. So first up, we have Enable Vibrate. This toggle turns Second Sight long range's internal vibration motor on or off. If you plan on using vibration sequences directly from the device, especially for close-up or silent performance modes, then you want to leave this turned on. But if you're relying purely on visual peaks, thumper output, or sending information to external systems like the notifier, then feel free to turn this off. You can also turn this on and off directly from Second Sight long range itself. So with Second Sight long range, you just double tap this button here, and that will turn it off. Double tap it again, and that will turn it back on. So this is particularly useful if you've got Second Sight concealed within another object. It could be under a table, it could be within a close-up mat. Then you probably might have this disabled so it's not vibrating. But if it's on your person and you might have in your top pocket and you might feel that vibrate sequence when you walk up to a spectator, then you might have it turned on. Next, we have the number of repeats. This sets how many times the vibrate sequence will repeat after the initial scan. So you can set this to no repeats. This means that it will only vibrate on the very first time it scans, or you can set this for multiple different vibrates. So repeats are useful if you're working in a loud environment or if you need to be extra sure you've received the correct signal. Say you're doing a multi-phase card routine and you want to miss that cue. Then we've got time between repeats. This allows you to adjust how long Second Sight long range waits before repeating the vibration sequence. So it ranges from 1 second up to several seconds, depending on your comfort level and your pacing. So for example, if you're getting a suit and a value vibration sequence, you might want to have a little bit of a pause before you get that vibration sequence again, just long enough so that you can confirm that you've interpreted the vibration sequence correctly. The next is the vibrate length. This slider lets you control how long each individual vibration lasts, from shorter pulses to longer bursts. So you can easily adjust that, just drag that to the left and to the right. Slide to the left for a shorter tap, or slide to the right for a longer pulse. Under that, we've got the vibrate strength. This sets how powerful the vibrations feel. Move the slider all the way to the left for a gentle tap and all the way to the right for a strong, bold tap. I recommend starting somewhere in the middle and adjusting based on your personal sensitivity and performance environment. It really comes down to what feels comfortable and most readable for you. Then we've got the vibrate delay. So this setting determines how long second sight long range waits after it's scanned the initial tag before it starts vibrating. So setting a delay of say 2 seconds ensures that once you scan that tag, it waits for 2 seconds before it will start doing that vibrate sequence. So this is good if you've got a situation where you feel the spectator potentially could hear that vibrate or feel that vibrate, then you can scan that tag, wait for X number of seconds, and then you'll get that vibrate sequence. So just to recap, these vibrate sequences are entirely customizable. They allow you to fine tune whether or not you want the vibrate sequence on or off, how many times you want that vibrate sequence to play, how long it is between your repeat vibrates, and how strong and how long each vibrate sequence is, and how quickly second sight long range will respond to a scan. So it's all about giving you complete control. So whether you're working quietly at a dinner table or in a noisy stage environment, second sight long range always works exactly how you want it to work.